The chamber echoed with static as the Galactic Council's most ancient AI wheezed through its opening declaration. Every species in the galaxy's ruling elite sat gathered, high on ego and low on expectations. A death always brought drama, and the passing of King Zarnok promised plenty. The will began streaming. Everyone leaned in, until it read, "By the sacred law of succession, my heir shall be the nearest genetically aligned Terran male." Silence. Then laughter exploded. The ape world? One snorted through a mucus sac. Who let primitive DNA near the royal bloodline? The laughter spread like a virus. Delegates slapped tentacles on marble tables. One even fell off his hover throne, convulsing in mirth. Moments later, a human shuffled into the room. He wore sweatpants, a hoodie, and a half-eaten protein bar stuck to his forearm. No guards. No entourage. Just swagger. "Yo," he said, "I'm Derek. Derek O'Hara. Got this letter thing. Said I won space stuff." The laughter stopped. Stared. Someone whispered, That's him?" Derek took a bite of his protein bar, unfazed. "So, like, I inherited a spaceship, or?" The Chancellor coughed, voice trembling. "You have inherited not only the throne of Zarnok, but also his living heir." Derek blinked. "Wait. There's a chick involved?" "In our traditions," the Chancellor wheezed, "inheritance includes the unmated daughter." "Oh." Derek looked around. "So, this hideous beast is mine now?" Gasps. Then another round of laughter. "She'll break him in half. He thinks it's a prize. I give the Terran one night before he dissolves from exposure." Derek shrugged. "I've dated yoga instructors. I'm immune to disappointment." The Chancellor motioned toward a shimmering stasis pod. "Behold, Princess Vargula." The pod hissed open. There she stood. 9 feet tall. 4 arms. Shoulders wide enough to crush moons. Curved claws. Horns. Glowing teal eyes. Her scales shimmered like molten obsidian. The chamber fell deathly silent. "Damn," Derek muttered. "You weren't kidding about hideous. But she's kinda got that primal thing going. You know, like a dinosaur cosplay gone sexual." The Chancellor blanched. Vargula stepped forward, confusion in her eyes. "This is the one?" She sniffed. "It smells unseasoned." Derek grinned. "That's just Axe body spray, sweetheart. Kinda like space pheromones, but cheaper." She tilted her head. "He seems squishy." One council member whispered, her touch liquefied the last suitor. Derek cracked his knuckles. "I'm not here to melt. I'm here to mate, or whatever. Let's do this throne thing." The council recoiled. "You intend to proceed?" One gasped. "I mean, I flew all this way. Got a free drink. Might as well see where this goes." Vargula stepped closer. "If you accept me, you must complete the royal bond." "What's that?" "Like, a space prenup or full contact cuddle." She blinked. "The ritual involves merging of essences." Derek winked. "Well, I brought protection. And protein. I'm good to go." Another council member gagged. "He's serious." The Chancellor stepped in. "By galactic law, the bonding must be completed within 1 moon cycle. Otherwise, the throne defaults to the warlords of Slurg." Derek scratched his neck. "Do I get a crown or just a really intense back massage?" "No crown. Only power, diplomacy, and eternal rule." "Right. But there's, like, a honeymoon phase, yeah?" Vargula sniffed again. "Your scent has shifted." "Arousal?" Derek shrugged. "Could be the excitement. Could be lactose. Hard to tell." The council couldn't decide whether to scream, laugh, or cry. He strolled up to Vargula and offered a fist bump. She stared. It's a human thing. Shows trust. She copied it, her claw accidentally denting his knuckle. He hissed. You're fragile, she said softly. You're terrifying, he answered. This is gonna be fun. The chamber's power flickered. The AI voice resumed, Terran Derek O'Hara, you are now legally bonded to Princess Vargula. You must begin the ritual immediately. Chamber 17 has been prepared. Derek raised a brow. Immediate? Y'all don't believe in dinner first? It's law. He sighed, turned to Vargula. All right, Princess Hideous. Let's make history. And maybe some weird babies. The council watched in horror as the human and the nightmare walked hand and claw toward the ceremonial chamber. Derek turned back and flashed a smirk. Hey council folks, next time, pick your words better. Hideous isn't a deal-breaker where I come from. Especially if the throne's included. The doors sealed shut behind them. And the council? They finally stopped laughing. Derek wasn't sure if he was walking into a honeymoon suite or a gladiator pit, but the doors closed behind him with the finality of a wedding vow and a prison sentence rolled into one. The room was warm. Too warm. The air buzzed like a charged battery, and at the center of it all stood Vargula, silent, stiff, and terrifyingly regal. She looked him over with a stare sharp enough to slice a comet. You're smaller than I expected. He smirked. Most women say that before they get to know me. Her nostrils flared. You mistake me. Your body mass is insufficient for survival during the ritual. I eat a lot of carbs, Derek said. They fuel performance. She crossed two of her arms. Then you accept the consequences? I once ate Taco Bell before skydiving. I've accepted worse. She stepped forward. Derek didn't move. Her claws clicked against the stone. Her breath was warm and smelled faintly of ozone and wildflowers. Weird combo. Her voice dropped. You understand the ritual requires merging of core essence? Essence, huh? Back home we call that compatibility testing. She tilted her head. You continue to speak in riddles. No, just dirty metaphors. He grinned. It's a human thing. She didn't laugh. Instead, she produced a small vial of glowing blue liquid. This will prepare your nervous system. Without it, your brain may rupture from intensity. Derek stared. Is that an energy shot or alien Viagra? I do not understand either word. Perfect. Bottoms up. He downed the vial. It tasted like lightning and mint. His pupils dilated instantly. He suddenly heard colors. Vargula moved closer. Your heart rate is elevated. He coughed. So's everything else. She reached for his shirt. Her claws shredded it without effort. Hey, careful. This was on sale. She inspected his bare chest like a scientist inspecting a faulty probe. So smooth. So pink. So unarmored. Yeah, Earthlings don't come with exoskeletons. We do have emotional walls, though. She reached for his hand. Lie down. He didn't argue. Mostly because gravity had become optional. She hovered over him, and for a moment, Derek thought, this is it. This is how I die. Crushed by alien affection. The bonding process began. Or, at least, the part that involved glowing tendrils, humming air, and what sounded suspiciously like interdimensional moaning. His body vibrated. Literally. Monitors in the walls lit up. A spike in bioenergetic fusion sent pulses through the palace grid. Somewhere, lights flickered. Hold steady, Vargula said, her voice like thunder under velvet. Derek grinned through the buzz. Not my first rodeo. Though this one has, for saddles. She didn't get the joke, but something about his tone made her blush, an actual blush, visible even through her obsidian scales. You're adapting, she murmured. Impressive. I'm a quick learner. especially when my survival depends on your satisfaction. The energy rose again. A second spike. Then a third. Monitors screamed. Alarms chirped. Derek's fingernails glowed. Am I supposed to be glowing? She nodded. That means you're sinking. With you or the building? Yes. He laughed, even as his limbs buzzed like overcharged wires. I should have stretched first. She leaned down. Your sarcasm is arousing. Great, Derek gasped. Now my mouth's a weapon. You were made for this. No, he groaned. I was made for bartending and failing community college. But this? This is bonus content. Another surge. The room dimmed. In the control chamber above, council members watched monitors in horror. His biosigns are stable. Impossible. He should have been liquefied. Is he smiling? Back in the chamber, Derek arched his back and let out a wild laugh. I think I just saw the meaning of life. Vargula's tone softened. Do you wish to continue? He looked up at her. Oh, I'm not tapping out now. You're starting to grow on me, and not just because I think your tentacle's still on my ribcage. She retracted it quickly. Apologies. That was instinctive. No judgment. I once cuddled a bear. Accidentally. Camp trip gone wrong. You are strange. You're gorgeous in a murder your ex kind of way. She blinked. That is flattering. The ritual began to stabilize. The glow dimmed. Derek's body, now adjusted to her energy, stopped spasming. He sat up, slightly dizzy, and very shirtless. Well, he said, rubbing his temples. That was either a bonding ceremony or the universe's weirdest one-night stand. It is not over, Vargula replied. Oh God. Relax. The remainder is ceremonial. So, no more glowing genitals? No. Merely the transfer of rights. Derek exhaled. Good. I was starting to worry my essence would short-circuit something. You've endured well. I'm flattered. Does this mean we're Facebook official? She tilted her head again. What's a Facebook? Never mind. Galactic Tinder it is. A chime rang. The door hissed open. The council stood outside, stunned. Derek waved. Hey folks. Still alive. Mostly intact. And I think your princess here likes me. Vargula stepped beside him, all four arms casually wrapped around his shoulders. The Chancellor looked pale. Did the bonding succeed? Derek smirked. Define succeed. Because I feel like I just ran a marathon naked through an electrical storm, and somehow won. Vargula nodded. The fusion was complete. The council muttered. Panic. Confusion. One whispered, he's not just alive, he's linked. Derek cracked his neck. That's right. You called me squishy. Weak. Laughable. He pulled Vargula closer. Well, guess what? I just handled your royal nightmare with style. Who's laughing now? The Chancellor cleared his throat. By law, you are now the ruling partner of House Zarnok. Derek looked up at Vargula. Guess I'm married now. Hope there's cake. She squeezed him gently. We consume plasma spheres. No cake. Bummer. But I can acquire cake. His eyes lit up. Now that's romance. They walked past the stunned council. Derek leaned in. By the way, her claws are gentle. Once you get used to the talons. Silence followed them. The doors closed again. And somewhere in the palace, a generator exploded. The palace systems rebooted twice before stabilizing. Technicians reported minor gravitational fluctuations and an unexplained spike in ambient pheromone density. Derek stretched on the royal balcony, shirtless, glowing faintly, and munching on an alien fruit that smelled like warm cinnamon toast. Vargula stood beside him, arms folded, unreadable expression on her face. The energy meld was more intense than I expected. Derek nodded. Felt like a car battery to the soul, but yeah. Kinda exhilarating. She studied him. You adapt quickly. It's a coping mechanism. Humans joke through trauma, awkwardness, and interspecies intimacy. You consider our bonding awkward? Only when I started glowing in places that shouldn't glow. A low hum from the corridor warned them of company. The Chancellor arrived with a floating array of legal documentation, a diplomatic scowl, and 3 nervous aides. You've completed the fusion, he muttered, avoiding direct eye contact. Fully fused, Derek confirmed. Might need a chiropractor, though. Vargula remained quiet. The Chancellor cleared his throat. Then, by law, you are both recognized as co-rulers of Zarnok's throne. Derek raised a brow. No crown still? No. But you now control planetary policy, defense, and public mating permits. Mating permits? Derek smirked. I'm suddenly way more interested in bureaucracy. The Chancellor winced. You are required to address the Council and announce your intentions. I intend to eat more of these fruit things and not get disintegrated. Politically. Oh. Right. Peace. Unity. Shared energy. Lower taxes. Better chairs. Something inspiring. Prepared statements are available. I like to freestyle. Vargula stepped forward. His methods are unconventional, but strangely effective. The Chancellor twitched. Moments later, Derek stood before the Council again. This time with a royal sash over his still bare chest and a self-assured grin. I know some of you expected me to fail, he said. Thought I'd melt, implode, or run screaming. Instead, I thrived. Turns out, humans are full of surprises. One delegate muttered, or fluids. Derek pointed. Exactly. We're messy, emotional, illogical, but we commit. We bond hard. And if I can survive bonding with a flame-scaled warrior goddess, I can survive running this joint. Vargula added, his resilience is inspiring. Another delegate whispered, they look compatible. A third growled, unnatural. Derek ignored them. So here's the deal. I don't want war. I don't want power games. I want peace, passion, and enough food for everyone. Also, better soundproofing in the royal chamber. Your walls are thin. The Chancellor choked. I've met your daughter, Derek added, pointing at a delegate. She asked me to examine her stinger. I declined. Politely. Murmurs rippled through the room. We humans may be new to this galactic politics thing, he continued, but we bring something unique, chaotic optimism. Also, sarcasm. Vargula stood beside him, chin high. And adaptability. He matched my energy. Physically. Psychically. Politically. He matched her what? A delegate asked. Derek grinned. Let's just say the energy monitors broke. Twice. That earned silence. The Chancellor, pale and slightly sweaty, stepped forward. We recognize your claim. And your union. Great, Derek replied. Now let's get to the fun stuff. He wasn't joking. Within hours, new policies began. First, a day of rest for overworked plasma miners. Second, a ban on mandatory mating rituals without informed consent, apparently a long overdue law. Third, open trade with Earth. Vargula watched him closely as he worked. You lead differently. Differently how? With humor. And heart. Most leaders rule with logic or fear. Humans rule with memes and snacks. You could be mocked for this. Already was. Still won. Later that evening, Derek wandered into the gene lab by mistake, searching for dessert. There, a technician bowed and nervously handed him a datapad. "There's something you should see." He read the screen. Then read it again. Turns out, Vargula's biology wasn't just rare, it was selective. Her bonding energy could only be activated by a compatible genome. And among the millions of species in the galaxy, only human DNA caused full activation. Vargula's power, once dormant, had now quadrupled. Derek chuckled. "So I literally turned her on?" The tech blinked. "Yes, that is accurate." Back in their chambers, Derek tossed the datapad on the table. "Guess what? We're basically genetically perfect for each other." Vargula didn't look surprised. "I felt it." "Felt it where?" "In every atom." He walked closer. "That's the most romantic science talk I've ever heard." She reached out with one claw and gently traced his collarbone. "And you didn't flee?" "I don't run unless I'm chased by bills or exes." "You're not like others." "Neither are you." "You ever wonder why your people called you hideous?" "They feared me. My strength. My uniqueness." "Well," he said softly, "your uniqueness saved their empire." "They still whisper." "Let them whisper. I've been called worse. Once got dumped because I couldn't cook rice." "You're strange." "I'm human." "It's the same thing." She leaned in. "And you're mine now." He met her gaze. "Yeah. I am." At that moment, the royal chamber lights dimmed again, unprompted. Somewhere, a generator overloaded. Engineers blamed faulty bonding residue. The council held another emergency meeting. He completed the ritual. He passed the test. He updated the planet's HR policies. One delegate whispered, "What if Earthlings are the perfect mates?" Another added, "Their stamina is illogical." The chancellor groaned. "We've unleashed mating diplomacy." And in the center of it all, Derek O'Hara, sweatpants king, unfiltered diplomat, accidental heartthrob, kissed the former hideous daughter on her forehead and asked, "So, we doing breakfast or another bonding session first?" She growled softly. The walls hummed. The throne had never been more alive. The data was undeniable. Vargula wasn't just rare, she was the genetic keystone of a forgotten royal program, designed to awaken only when bonded to a being with resilience, adaptability, and high chaos tolerance. Statistically, only one known species matched, Homo sapiens. One council biologist had to recheck the numbers 6 times before breaking down and muttering, "Those pink-skinned lunatics are the biological jackpot." The council couldn't spin it. The propaganda, the rumors, the centuries of alien dating apps avoiding Zarnak's line, all of it was engineered misinformation. A control mechanism. Hideous wasn't a description. It was a warning. Derek's bond didn't just empower Vargula. It activated long-dormant systems across their empire, defensive satellites realigned, ancient archives decrypted, and a massive throne embedded with DNA recognition tech pulsed to life. Only she could sit. Only he could stabilize it. By morning, the royal crest had updated. A new emblem shimmered through every broadcast, a stylized claw wrapped protectively around a tiny earth. Derek leaned back in the throne room, half-dressed, sipping something that tasted like warm apple pie and lightning. "So, turns out I'm cosmic Viagra." Vargula stood beside him, arms crossed, smirking slightly. "You speak with such confidence." Confidence, delusion, and caffeine are a human's holy trinity. "You unlocked me." "Technically, I just showed up and didn't die." Yet everything changed. It's the Earthling effect. We don't conquer with fleets. We just show up, make things awkward, and end up in charge. Reports flooded in. Species once hostile were requesting peace talks. News outlets began calling Derek the catalyst. Black market vendors started selling Bond like a human enhancement kits. One shady planet launched a line of scented candles called Derek's Musk. He was not paid royalties. The council convened again, visibly shaken. The Chancellor tried to keep his voice even, but the tremor leaked through. You've destabilized the galactic hierarchy. I wore sweatpants to my coronation. You should have seen this coming. You've violated our traditions. You locked your strongest weapon behind a dating ritual and hoped no one passed. This could cause interspecies unrest. Derek smiled. Unrest? Buddy, you're about to see a galactic baby boom. One delegate slammed a tentacle on the table. Humans are contagious. Their culture, their humor, their mating, it spreads. Exactly, Derek said. We connect. You all build walls. We climb them. Or trip over them. Either way, we still end up inside. Vargula stepped forward. He is not a virus. He's a catalyst. My power responded because his chaos complements my control. Chaos, one delegate spat, is dangerous. It's also honest, Derek said. You feared her strength, so you labeled her hideous. But what you were really scared of was her freedom. Another silence. No one argued. Vargula raised her chin. From this day forward, our bond is law. Our union is the throne. And our rule will not be silenced by fear. The Chancellor sighed. Then the Council must adapt. Start with new seats, Derek said. Yours are too pointy. Back on Earth, things exploded. News outlets called him the Alien Queen Whisperer. Memes took over. One showed Derek with the caption, "He went interstellar and still pulled." Another had Vargula roaring with thick enthroned. An erotic fanfiction site crashed under the traffic. Vargula scrolled through them curiously. Your species is very expressive. Derek shrugged. We cope with lust and laughter. Usually both. You're not offended? I'm flattered. Though that drawing of me with 6 arms? Bit excessive. It was accurate during the bonding surge. Fair point. He set the datapad down and leaned closer. Do you regret it? Choosing you? Binding with a chaotic, underqualified earthling. You awaken everything I was told to hide. You are flawed, reckless, and impulsive. Don't hold back. But, you saw me. Not hard. You're 9 feet tall. Not just my body. You saw me. And didn't flinch. Only once. When you cracked my pelvis. She smiled, claws tracing his arm gently. You made me laugh. Humans do that. It's our superpower. Her eyes locked with his. What now, my mate? We rule. We love. We disrupt. And when they come for us, we show them what happens when you mix royal blood with human stubbornness. A ping interrupted them. A new threat report. A rival planet, insulted by the sudden rise of a human consort, threatened war. A fleet approached. Derek cracked his neck. Let me guess, they're jealous I got the girl? Vargula smirked. They claim it's about honor. Funny. That's what Earthlings call it too when they lose at love. She pressed a claw to a panel. Dozens of ancient weapons responded instantly, now linked to her pulse. I'll handle the war. Derek leaned back. I'll handle the press. The enemy fleet never made it to orbit. When interviewed later, Derek only said, they came hard. We came harder. The quote went viral. Back in the palace, he looked out across the stars and exhaled. Not bad for a guy who just wanted free fruit. Vargula stood behind him. You've changed everything. Nah, he said. I just reminded them that being different doesn't mean being alone. Even monsters deserve love. They called me hideous. They call me lucky. Are you? Every damn minute. She leaned in. Then let's make the galaxy remember why they stopped laughing. And they did. Again. And again. Until no one in the galaxy doubted what humans could do when they were fully bonded.